Hey, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Deezer, Stitcher, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter. And you can also check out the Mike Wagner Show on over 35 podcast platforms as well. We're here with a wonderful gentleman from down in Mississippi. He's been a DJ for quite some time. He's got his own radio show, and he's been in the business for about 6 years. This guy is just fantastic. He's also an actor, voice actor, and just ironically does the same thing that I do, and he just does it with a passion. And let's hear some of the secrets. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful state of Mississippi, heading down south, ladies and gentlemen, the next radio star in the industry, Trey Olds. Trey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, doing great. So you've been in radio since 2013. You've been it for about 6 years, and of course, you're doing quite well. You're also an actor, a voice actor, and you also have a show where focused on interviewing people in the entertainment industry. Great guests, interesting people. You know what? It kind of mirrors mine, believe it or not. So, and before we can get to all that, tell us exactly how you got started in radio.
Well, I was always interested in radio and comedy and entertainment and all aspects of the industry ever since I was a little kid. Music mostly because my uncle, he was a musician and he played in New Orleans, Louisiana. So that was a big aspect of it. I was around a lot of music, and New Orleans is big with the blues and the jazz and the Cajun music. Very, the South is very involved with music. Mm-hmm. And I was interested in that, and I would watch television and I would watch comedies, and I would always say, well, how did the actors get into that? I want to do that. And I didn't really understand it when I was a little kid, but as I got older, I researched some more and found someone who was in the industry, in the radio industry in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, connected with him. And he kind of taught me the ropes of voiceovers and radio, and that got my first job doing voiceovers over the internet, doing narrations on the internet and YouTube and different little sites throughout. And then after that, I started my own radio show because everyone was telling me, Trey, you have a unique voice. You put it to good use, don't let it go to waste. You have a unique voice, do more voiceovers or do a radio show, because talk radio is getting popular, and it's been popular for a long time, and it's growing constantly. And so I did, but first I was a DJ, and I did music. I played all kind of music: country, classical, jazz, Cajun, rock, all kind of music. And then after two and a half years of that, I switched to talk radio, where I interviewed, and still do. I interview actors and musicians, writers, other radio hosts, etc.
Mm-hmm. And who have you interviewed in terms of celebrities? I love to hear your list, and I'm sure you got a page about maybe like what about 300 names, or maybe like what 50 pages worth or something.
I've interviewed a lot of people. I would probably have to say over 150. Probably less, probably more, give or take a few. But I've interviewed a few big names. I hate to say celebrity, because each actor, each individual is their own, star. And but big names people would recognize. I've interviewed actors: Ed Asner from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Ed Asner, Marion Ross. She was the mom on Happy Days.
Oh, nice.
Joan Van Ark. She did a few shows. Knots Landing in Dallas. Those two shows. Who else? I've done it for so many years, it's hard to come up with all the names. Let's see. George Galfo, he's a singer. He's one of the original band members of the Mystics. It's an old group of singers, classical music from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy Chappelle, an entertainer, and a lounge singer, those type of entertainers. Who else? Glenn Hefner, he's an actor. Tom Katzis, Michael Flynn, an actor. All kind of people. I can't name them all, but those are just some of the few.
That's amazing. You got a great list as well, too. And we'll talk more about your show and some of the influences in just a minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with voice actor, radio DJ, and the host of the Trey Olds Show, Trey Olds, here on the Mike Wagner Show from down in Mississippi, and he grew up in Louisiana. And I was going to ask you something about Louisiana. Are you familiar with the Robertsons of Duck Dynasty? And what were your thoughts on them being in your part of the neck of the woods? I just want to throw that out to you, the guys from Duck Dynasty.
Oh, yeah. I used to watch their show, the Robertsons. I like their show a lot. I never met them. I had a relative that met them once, but I haven't. I was kind of jealous when that relative did. But
I bet you wanted size tea glass. I'll bet you.
Yeah, and they don't. Well, when I lived in Louisiana, they didn't live very far. They were in the West Monroe area, and where I lived in Louisiana, that was about probably 2 or 3 hours away. Not far, but now it's where I am in Mississippi. That's longer ride now, but yeah, that's interesting. And it was cool to me because I used to watch it, and I didn't know they were from Louisiana at first. And when my dad told me, well, they're in Louisiana, that's neat. That's a TV show being in Louisiana, where I'm from, so
Mm-hmm.
it's always interesting to see projects in your home state.
It is one of the best things, when you're a radio DJ and everything else. And who are some of your favorite singers, musicians, actors, actresses growing up? And then after you answer that, along with some movies and your favorite TV shows growing up.
Well, I always tell myself I was born in another generation. I'm like an old soul. I liked all the older stuff. So television, I liked just the old shows, Mary Tyler Moore. Then I liked the crime shows. You had Columbo, Matlock, The X-Files, Criminal Minds. And then I love game shows. I watch those now more frequently now because there's so many game shows being created now. And music and singers, I like jazz and country music. Johnny Cash was probably one of the best country singers, and probably one of my favorites.
Classic, yes.
Oh yeah, and going back to the old music, I like classical. Frank Sinatra, I liked. He was very good singer and name back in the day. And then Elvis, the King, Elvis Presley, and I like all. And I like the modern stuff, but I grew up. My family were from an older generation, and I grew up around that. So I was always more interested in the older stuff. But you have to adapt, and you have to sometimes watch and listen to the new modern stuff.
Mm-hmm. In order to stay up to date, keep up the breast, something that's very vital. And you mentioned that your dad was a musician, and who did he play with during the time?
Not my dad, my uncle.
Your uncle, okay. I just want to clarify. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, my uncle, he recently passed away, but he was a musician for probably almost 40 years, and he played on and off, and in New Orleans, and he had a band, but it wasn't really an organized band. He just played with other local musicians and other friends who were musicians in New Orleans and Louisiana, and they would play in bars and restaurants and events and all kind of little festivals. And New Orleans, they have a lot of festivals. Louisiana is known for all their festivities and all that.
Mm-hmm. And how many times have you been to Mardi Gras?
I've been a few times, less or so these years. New Orleans now is kind of a bad place to go because the crime is unpredictable. So I try to avoid going to New Orleans as much as I can now.
and of course, besides Mardi Gras as well, too. And what are some of your favorite foods down in New Orleans?
Well, seafood, that's a big thing for Louisiana.
You mean I seafood and eat it? I'm kidding.
I know. Seafood, shrimp, crawfish. My whole family is big on seafood. I'm not very big on it. I like shrimp and crawfish, but not all the seafood. My family picks at me saying I'm really not a Louisiana person if I don't like seafood. But no, and Louisiana, they have a unique culture. They have their unique every state has their own unique culture. Just Louisiana is just very Cajun, very very I say unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, speaking of unpredictable as well, too, you've had numerous people in the entertainment industries, but is there a chance we'd be having any athletes or sports celebrities on? Of course, you got the New Orleans Saints. They're very big on them. So I just want to know if you'd be having plans for any celebrities or football players or anything, or especially like some lines like the New Orleans Saints.
No, not yet, at least. One day in the future, probably, but no, I haven't interviewed any athletes. I interviewed an actor who was an athlete and then transitioned into acting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a very nice man, and I forgot. I think it was football he was in, and then transitioned to acting. And so yeah, I had him, but I didn't really interview any athletes in particular. But who knows? One day there's always something for everything. Always something new.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you also mentioned comedians as well too, and watching comedies. And who are some of your favorite comedians growing up, and what are some of your favorite comedies?
Comedians, well, there's a lot. As I said, I like the older comedians, but there aren't too many these days. They're all passing away, all the great comedians and all the great talents from back then. My favorite comedian probably has to be, I liked Joan Rivers. She was very interesting. Not that, I mean, I like clean comedy, but, some comedy, I guess, is acceptable. But Joan Rivers and George Carlin and who else? I'm trying to think. I'm not good with names sometimes. I just thought of the person and the name just left me.
It happens to the best of us. Don't worry about it. So.
Yeah, so I like all the comedians, and I like all in the industry today. There's constantly new talent coming along. Younger people younger than me, or people that are just wanting to get in the industry. So I always admire that, seeing people getting into the industry. It reminds me of how I got started, and believe it or not, it's changed a little bit since when I got in the industry.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you've taken this change pretty well too. I'll talk more about your show in just a minute, but first listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% for your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter. Trey Olds Show, Trey Olds here on the Mike Wagner Show. He's also an actor and voice actor and many, many more. He's been in the business since in 2013. He's 6 years in the business, and we're going to talk about the Trey Olds Show, and he's been doing this for quite some time. And tell us more about the wonderful program you have right now, the Trey Olds Show.
Well, I still do interviews, and I slowed down because of the coronavirus.
Oh, my gosh. It has shut everybody down. Believe me, you're not the only one.
Yeah. But I still do. Thankfully, I have a home studio, so I don't have to go out and, go and get a chance to get infected with the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
But, I have my own home studio, and I do it there, and I do interviews. I used to do 3 interviews a week, and that kept me busy. I did one Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every week. And that was fun, and I like being busy. And then I slowed down a little bit because I had some other things come my way acting-wise, and then some health issues that are now resolved. And now I'm still doing interviews, and I wanted to start back up, and then the coronavirus hits, so life is unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, I have interviews. I had an interview this morning. I had an interview a few days ago. So yeah, I'm doing interviews every few days.
Now are you live with the Trey Olds Show, or do you record your show and play back a later date?
It's pre-recorded, and I record it, then edit, and then I publish it in the next few days. So it's all recorded. When I first started my show, it was all live. When I did when I was a DJ, and I liked live radio at first, and then I didn't like it because you kind of notice you made a few mistakes and you can't correct them because it's live. So you get kind of self-conscious, I guess, and then sometimes the pressure gets the best of you when you're doing a live show and you're doing a show for an hour, 2 hours, and it's live, and
Mm-hmm. And of course, you have to deal with the things too, like with the technical difficulties. You got the weather knocking out the transmitter and everything else. And now I was going to ask you as well too, what radio station are you working at right now doing the Trey Olds Show, or were you doing it back then?
Well, it's my own show. It's all internet podcast, and it streams on YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes, anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find my show. There's too many apps and things to name, but YouTube is the best way to find. It's the easy way to find it. Just type in Trey Olds or Trey Olds Radio, and my YouTube channel should pop up with all my interviews and some of my acting projects on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an internet show. It streams all over, and I've had people tell me my show is listened to in Canada and the United Kingdom and Australia, and I've interviewed people from those countries as well, and so I've been all over the place.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like you got an amazing presence as well too. And what was that one moment that precisely influenced you going from being a radio DJ playing music to doing a talk show per se? What was that one precise moment that led you into that?
Well, I thought I was always going to do radio DJing, and till I saw other shows, talk interview shows, and I saw how popular they were. They not necessarily more popular than DJing shows, but the more you could tell the radio host of those shows and interviewing, they had more fun. You could just tell their energy was more focused doing interviews than in radio DJing. And so I said, I'll give it a try. I'll try one show. And I got hold of the person who got me into the industry, the radio host in Baton Rouge. He was my first interview guest ever. And it went very well. I enjoyed doing the interview. At first you're nervous, I've never done interviews before at that time, and but once you get the ball rolling and start talking and having a conversation, the nerves sort of just go away and you're fully into the conversation, and he talks, I talk, it's back and forth, and I was fun, and I've done that ever since. And I still get nervous at beginning of interviews, but once you, like I said, get the ball rolling and start having a conversation, you get used to it. It's become a part of you if you've been in it for so many years.
It's almost like having a cup of coffee and a good conversation as well too. And I know you've interviewed over 150 people. And what's it like for people interviewing you about as a person, who you are, your upbringing, and your career and everything else, and what's it like being at the opposite end?
Oh, I enjoy it when people interview me because it's kind of a relaxation for me because I'm not the one asking questions. But no, I do like asking questions, but I'm just joking, but I like it, and I like being asked questions and people asking me about my life and stuff, and I'm a talker, so I'll talk everyone's ear off. And there was a point where I had scheduled interviews. People were interviewing me like every few days a week, and someone said, "Trey, don't you ever get tired of talking?" I said, "No, I love to talk. I could do interviews every day if I if I could.
It sounds like you'd be somebody you can just have a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and you can just talk for a couple hours or so, and it's like, well, we gotta go. He goes, no, wait, we got more. So, and what's life like down in Mississippi for you, especially in radio?
Well, in Mississippi, for radio, in the industry in general, it's not the best place to be in the industry. I say if you want to be, quote unquote, a star or be at least successful, big in the industry, you would have to go to California or New York. But that's not always the case for me, because I'm also an actor. I do theater work down here in Mississippi with the community theaters, and they have a lot of the community colleges down here. They have wonderful theater departments, and they always look for volunteer actors to work in their productions. And I've done a few of everything with that, and I enjoy it. And it's not just Mississippi. Where I live in Mississippi, I'm just a few minutes away from Alabama too. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and Louisiana too. So I kind of go in between Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, and it's interesting. And it seems like every year the industry is growing in every state. So, like I said, you don't necessarily have to move to California or New York to be in the industry. I mean, it's your best because it's been around so long. But just wait. You have to be patient, and I would wait to see if the industry grows in your home state.
That is amazing. You talked about being in community theater and also did some voice acting, and you also got your radio show as well too. What are some of your upcoming plans and projects later on in 2020 for you?
Well, I had a few acting gigs coming up, but that's kind of been put on hold because of the coronavirus. Everything has kind of shut down. But I have a few voiceover projects coming up, just a few narrations and voiceover stuff for advertisements on YouTube and websites on the internet. I do have an acting role coming up, a movie role, but my part is just video. It's interesting how editing is. My role is only through video, through Skype. And when my friend, his name's Tim, he's a director and producer in Seattle, Washington, and he's doing a production. It's hopefully it's still in progress. And hopefully we start shooting in the summer. And as I said, my role is through the internet, so I don't have to go to Seattle, Washington. I can just record my bit in my home studio, and he magically puts it in his film. And which is, like I said, that's the power of editing. And I really can't say much about the film because it's still a work in progress. And all I can tell you is my character is a bad guy. So
we're looking forward to that. Yeah, we'd love to have it back on soon. Tell us more about that as well too. And there's a couple of things I forgot to mention as well too. And who would you say was your favorite guest, like the best guest you had on the Trey Olds Show?
Oh, well, I've interviewed a lot. My usual answer is when someone tells me who's asked me who's been your favorite guest, and I say the guest I interviewed at the time. Everyone was my favorite, but the most influential and memorable would have to be Ed Asner, because I grew up watching him on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and
that was a classic.
Absolutely, and to interview one of your acting idols and someone you watched on TV for so many years, and finally get to talk to them and interview them, that it can't get better than that.
He sounds like a great guy to chat with as well too, along with many others. And what do you consider your what was the most funniest moment you had when it came to broadcasting?
I had a few funny moments on my part because sometimes I call them bloopers because sometimes, thank God for editing, because sometimes I stutter when I talk too fast or get hyped up in the moment. I stutter and I would get words mixed up. And I was interviewing a person and he was promoting a book. And I said the book title real fast and I butchered up the name real bad. And he said, wait, that's not right. And he was joking too, laughing. He wasn't mad or anything. And so we had to go back and fix that with the editing, and I had to say the name right. And but things like that, that's funny to me because I laugh at myself. I do a lot of funny things, and I do funny things without even realizing it, I guess. And so yeah, and I've had other funny, especially when I interview comedians and when they tell jokes or stories when they were doing stand-up, and sometimes I get carried away laughing. Once I start laughing, I'm a big laugh. Once someone makes me laugh, there's no end to it.
I think you'd be really good at a comedy club. I have to say that. I've heard stories where it's like people have these outrageous laughs and actually get paid for it. So you'd be really good at that. So, and a couple more things with Trey Olds. We'd love to have you back on again soon and tell us more about your ventures and your stories. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Trey?
Biggest influence? Well, my parents influenced me. They always taught me, you can do anything you put your mind to. When I told them I wanted to be in radio and acting, they said, go for it. And they said, if you're very passionate about it, don't let no one stop you. If someone says, no, you can't do that, prove them wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are my biggest influence. And many people I've met in the industry and my friends, and they're my biggest influence. People, they influence and inspire me. And so, yeah, and acting wise, fellow actors have influenced me and inspire me. And so it's interesting. I've been blessed to be in the industry and have a wonderful career so far, and pray it goes for a long time.
That sounds amazing, too, and you've got a fantastic career with a unique voice. I have to say this, like one of the most unique people I've ever had. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Well, you mean advice for people who want to get into the industry?
That or just in general. It's up to you.
In general, well, okay, in general, stay positive. If you want to pursue your dream, if it's acting or being a doctor or a lawyer, whatever it is, let no one stop you. If you have the passion for it, do it. But don't go in it blindsided. Know what you're...
No.
You know what you're getting into. Research, and practice, and find someone who's been in that field longer than or has been in it a long time, and find a teacher or a mentor, and learn the ropes of that field, and stay positive, and you have your limits, and you can do anything that you put your mind to.
And that's a very good point, Trey. Once again, Trey Olds of the Trey Olds Radio Show, a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to hearing again soon. And one more thing before we go here. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can people listen to the Trey Olds Show?
Well, the Trey Olds Radio Show is streamed all over, iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Spreaker, but the main place to easiest way to find it is YouTube. Just type in Trey Olds or Trey Olds Radio Show, and all of my interviews should pop up. And if you want to find out more about my acting work or upcoming interviews, I have a Facebook page, Trey Olds, and I have another page on Facebook just for the show. It's the Trey Olds Radio Show. And so on Facebook, you can learn more about me and my upcoming work and so forth.
That is fantastic, Trey. Again, Trey Olds of the Trey Olds Radio Show. A big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. And do us a favor, keep this up to date. We'd love to have you back on sometime in 2020 and beyond.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.